Good evening, everyone. This is Sibbe Bladh. In Norse mythology, our creation myth describes something peculiar. It's said that first was the great nothingness, the Ginnunga gap, meaning the mouth of nothing, the void of nothing, that stretched forever, eternally, in all directions. In the beginning was infinity. And then the primordial energies came, the elementary. But in the myth, it's said that it's the land of fire, Muspelheim, that collides with Niflheim, which is the land of ice. Then it's said that these primordial powers are called giants. And this race was slaughtered in the creation of a new universe by the gods. Odin, which is the first spirit in the universe, he kills Ymer, which some interpret as the Om frequency. Om is said to be the only frequency which life forms can emerge from. So Odin symbolically slaughtered Ymir, the primordial giant. And out of his substances and energies he created worlds. He created the seas and the lands, and this is all symbolically to describe the physical process, how our known universe came about. Space, it always fascinates us, because space is the ultimate proof that we live in infinity. Space is not a box. It has no limits. It is eternal. And that concept is very strange for us humans. I remember when I was a kid, this used to drive me crazy. I said, but there must be a wall. There must be some end of the universe. No, there's no end of the universe. Where should that end be? And what's behind that wall? So you always come to nothingness, eternity, which is, of course, magnificent knowledge. There was a time when man used to look at the stars in awe and wonder, what is this great miracle that we are beholding? And for anyone that was kind of little bit knowledgeable in physics, maybe in those time also could grasp this concept that space is eternal. And when we look at the sky, we look out in eternity. We look out in the infinite space. And this nothingness seems to be inside us too. When they study the atom, it's like empty. It's hollow. Space is one of the elements. And life evolved out of this nothingness. And grow the power, grow the force that fills everything from the start. From the seeds of eternity that grow consciousness and awareness. And in that sense we are small gods. We are not God. I'm allergic to that New Age concept that I am God. People say, no, you're not God. You are the energy of God. You are the energy of creation, which is developing into a godlike or higher consciousness. We are not complete. We cannot call ourselves God before we are fully completed spiritual masters. That is qualitatively one with the divine, the highest force. That's the only way for us to become gods. Veda have a concept, the avatar and the Advaita. You have the one is when the higher creatures take form as humans, and the other one is when humans transform themselves into the higher. But not even then can we truly say we're God, because we live in this body. But we're closer then. I heard a magnificent story for about 20 years ago. I was in the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean. Magnificent place. This was a really nice place. Havelock Island. A paradise beach, and met many interesting people there. And one was this guy from, I believe it was Austria, I'm not sure, but somewhere in the Alps. Germany, Austria or Switzerland, the German speaking parts. And his father used to be a butcher, so he rebelled against his father by becoming a Hindu monk, a dreadlocks person that was following a guru, a Baba, as they say. And he lived with this Baba, this sect of holy men. And their guru, their teacher, their master was 180 years old. and most of the disciples were about 100, 70 to 100 old men, most of the members of this sect. So he joined and he lived with them many years. He became a fruitarian, only eating fruits, which he regretted later. He said he had a problem eating food after all these 15 years with these guys. But what I wanted to tell you about the story was that one day the master said, I'm going to leave my body. And the disciples were upset. They said, Master, please stay, don't go. I said, no, but I'm finished here. I have new things to do. This is a fully developed master that control all powers. And by this stage, you control also when you die. You enter the body at will, at your chosen time and place. It's only the undeveloped people that die in the streets and die everywhere, like in the bed, or all highly enlightened creatures, they die completely different. And he said, yeah, I'll have to die now. I'm gonna die in about a week's time. He said the day, he said the time and the date. And they just waited for that. And when the time came, he went into a room, he lay down on a bed, and he died. Just as he said that he would. And what happened now? Yeah. The whole air was filled with the scent of flowers. And not only in their village, but in all the villages around, was the strong scent of sweet flowers. And this is described in the Vedic scriptures, how the gods would put this smell where highly evolved souls die, or where they live. An enlightened person, there can emerge smells around them. Smells of roses, and some believed it was the angels that came with the blessings and dropping flowers from the heaven on the people. So evolving life, it comes to a certain point where we are too big for a human structure. But to say that we are God is that is foolish. We don't know how big God is, right? Maybe he's much bigger than everybody thought. Or I think it's mainly out of egoism and ignorance that people claim I'm God and they behave like shit. Obviously God wouldn't behave like shit. So it's a joke. They mock the holy, they mock the divine. They're so deep in the Maya. Now I see a lot of so-called spiritual persons within the New Age, with the seekers, with the spiritual circuit, that are completely lost in regular society and this grand illusion that is raging. So they forgot what true spirituality is, true enlightenment, and what the purpose of life are. They're so lost, and they fight for transgender whatever kind of foolish politics that is going on, that is worldly, that is temporary, this is a temporary place, ephemeral existence for a while, you know, to reach the divine. So in life we cannot go for the illusion, we have to plant the eternal seeds and reap this by the structures that life and the universe works. It's governed by laws and functions where the energy flow through. And anything that don't flow through this system is fantasy. It blocks the actual divine enlightenment energy that flows through the world and through the creatures. So they are lost in their mind, and instead of living in this vast, infinite eternity, they live in the small ego mind of the creature, and they create a big story out of this, and they want other people to follow that story. But life don't follow fantasy or stories. We know that reality adapts to the creatures. Reality exists because of what's growing inside of the creatures, which is the Brahman, which is the God force. That's why things exist. It came out of nothing, of the Ginunga gap, so everything that exists are a demonstration of supernatural magic energy that flows. That's why you have in some of the mystic traditions, you have different energy patterns. In the mystic schools of the traditions and religions, you have energy patterns, just like the Norse mythology that describes what substances this and what energies it consists of. One cannot forget that we are part of this system, and get lost in the material illusion and think your way to unhappiness, manifest not the full potential. You're manifesting low, confused things that is harmful to the divine energy. All the ancient societies were in tune with the energy. They knew this energy inside of man and inside of nature, and they knew the purpose of it. So they worshipped the energy. They lived for the energy, and they made room for the energy. And with knowledge, and not with human fantasy about transgenderism and this weird, backwards, unnatural stuff. I'm not so much for bans, but in the case of gender operations, I think it should be a complete ban on that. Because I guess that 9 out of 10 they will regret very much that they have done that. And we don't want unhappy souls, confused souls in the world. We want the spirit to be happy and joyful. And this is not to punish, this is out of care. We care for this. That's why we don't want to punish or make anyone look funny or strange. We want the inner core and the meaning of life to work and be happy. So anytime you try to forbid something and make people not do anything, they will do more of that, right? So that is a psychological principle. We're not going to go up against and tell people what to do. We will just keep being spontaneous, natural, human life, and that will inspire enough for people to go the right way. I think like sexual identity disorders and all of this, and mental disorders are signs of the end of humanity and the end of the times, or the Kali Yuga, as they call it in the Veda, the last age, the final age, which also you can read in the Bible where the Christ say that this is the last time, the last age. That is the concept. And in this age, people start to drop off, like the leaves from the trees in the autumn. Time is getting ready for next cycle, and everything of the old die. And that's why people are starting to get very confused and killing each other and becoming all kind of sexuality and strange hobbies and a lot of evil things they do to themselves. They harm themselves a lot. This is a sign of that. In the early ages, man was full of power and loved themselves. A human that loved themselves, they don't put needles and rings in their whole faces and crutches. It won't happen. They are filled with grace. They are filled with holy power of love. In a constant meditation, a constant, almost transcendental vibration. And this vibration also, it encourages enlightenment in the body, which affect the mind, that the mind opens, the third eye opens, and super consciousness come to the human. And this is like a drug. The more the human get from this, the more they want it, you see, and the less they want pornography or harmful behaviors and destructive behaviors. That bad karma, so to say, it dies off with the spiritual energy. But it's important not to judge, not to be judgmental. Everybody goes from total darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, from evil to good, from chaos to order. This is the journey that all life work for. So to be stupid, to be confused, that is darkness, and to clear away that darkness is a work. That is to work for the almighty force, for the purpose of life. That's why some scriptures have called us workers, working for the divine power. And we grow the light. It's the responsibility for every human. When people raise family, new souls come. new light, new evolving energy come. People grow gardens, forests, take care of sick and old. Anything that creates joy and energy serves the purpose. And everybody don't have the same mission, or that's the wrong word, the same profession or task in this thing. But everybody have the same job, and that is to raise the light, raise the consciousness, and clear away the confusion. So, but we can't judge. If we judge, if we try to force people to do things, they will rebel. They will go against that. We have to leave them. And just show the right way until people want to be a part of the right way, because it feels good and they are naturally drawn to it. That's why I'm very anti-religious, because most of the religion is just a set of rules and trying to force people to be something that they are not ready to be. The Amish people, which is a incredibly extreme sect, they let their youths go out in the world and have sex and dance and take drugs and drink, but most of them come back to the community. So they know the trick. This is the trick. If you lash and force people, they always rebel and go against that. It is not in the human nature to bow. We're proud bloody fucking creatures. We rather die than to bow, than to take shit that hurt our integrity and our self-love and spirituality. We don't take that. We separate from that, or we fight, but we never stay. We're proud. We can't bow. But in the same time, we have to be peaceful and not too much war, too much conflict. That is part of the illusion. In the singularity, there is no conflict. You know, in the obvious truth, in the self-evident, there is no conflict. There is oneness. And we have to reach that oneness. Some say this oneness is the Ginungagap, the nothing, the eternity. But this is all mystery. This is all mystery. And it will come at a later stage of the spiritual evolution and journey through the cosmos. Alright. Take care, everybody. Bless.